What's up, baby? Welcome back. Welcome home to The Choir Imperfect and your weekly update. Now, for those of you just joining and wondering what the hell is going on, we're on a mission to create the biggest album collaboration ever. See, I put together choirs of hundreds to thousands of my followers, and they collaborate on my music, feature on the songs under their own artist name, The Choir Imperfect. And we've set out to record a whole concept album together, writing and recording it from scratch with the aim or the goal to have 100,000 voices singing on the album before the end. So if you'd like to get involved in that project and have your voice on Spotify forever, then DM me on any social media platform the word choir. Then I can sign you up and we'll take it from there. Now, let's get on with it. So last week, I shared a demo of what I thought could be one of the first songs on the album. If you want to see the story behind that and how that came to be, please check out the last update that I posted. So I asked you guys to jump onto TikTok and Instagram and vote on the video with a thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you liked it or not. And well, literally no one put their thumbs down, not even to troll me, which I was kind of hoping for. So either you guys really like it or you're just too nice to give me criticism. But I need criticism. This is not going to work unless you guys are honest. But hopefully it just means that you like the song, which is huge. I mean, at least it's for me. I was kind of nervous because this is the first song and blah, blah, blah. If you guys didn't like it, it would have been a pretty shitty start. But I'm glad you're on board. Now, aside from your comments and the emails that I got, there was one really useful bit of feedback in particular from Cameron Lynch. I'm going to read parts of his email now. Hey, Pace. Dude, this chorus absolutely hits. Yes. I appreciate the elements of both self-reflection and grief and the compliments to whatever it was you lost. Those are big things people use to cope with that specific type of pain. For that, I think you have a solid structure here, man. Love it. Great start. Appreciate that a lot. In addition, I'd like to suggest something you may have already thought of. My interpretation of this chorus is that it's structured on the concept of coping with grief. Very astute observation. For better words, acceptance. But maybe we can touch more on other stages of grief, like other ways that people cope. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression. Take people through that pain of losing something. Now, look, yes, totally. And, you know, when I shared the chorus, obviously there's room to kind of flesh this song out. The verses is where I want to kind of get into that. Now, I had to think about this, and I'd like to play you some verse ideas that kind of play with this idea of denial and then anger as well. Maybe we won't get through every stage of the grief process in the first song because we've got a couple of songs in the first act to get through. So we need to have some space to play with the other ideas. But denial and anger were two that kind of leapt out to me, at least from my experience. So I want to play those for you now and get your thoughts on it. And this is my new guitar. If you're wondering why it's not painted yet, I'm going to wait for these strings to kind of run out and then I'll take them off and then we'll have a look at painting it. But it sounds beautiful. All right, so here is an idea for the first verse for Thunder in the Dark, kind of playing with this denial thing that Cameron's talking about. Let's see what you think. I'm not sleeping anymore. These dreams aren't like before. I'm wide awake in case I hear heartbeat at my door. Can never do a thing about it. I'm learning how to live without it. But living isn't all that I have learned. Like rain and stormy weather, so fierce when we're together. I've hopelessly been blinded by your lightning from the start. So there we have, like, I guess a verse to kind of pre-chorusy bit to the chorus. So playing around with this idea of like wide awake in case I hear a heartbeat at my door, like someone knocking at my door, as in like as if they're coming back, right? I remember, especially when I lost my grandfather, my first grandfather that I lost, I kind of kept expecting him to show up in places because I'd never really lost anyone before at that point. And we lived in different countries at this point, and I still kept being like, was that him? Like looking at like older men in the street and being like, is he? Like, I don't know. It's just this weird thing of like not having fully processed it. So let me know what you think. Super keen to hear your thoughts on that. And yeah, I think it's nice. It's obviously quite low in my register. We might change the key. I don't know yet, but yeah. So keen to hear your thoughts. And then for the second verse, like playing around with this anger idea, I like lyrics that the opposite of what someone is saying, as in like delivered emotionally in a way that is like the opposite of what someone is saying. So it's like, I'm not angry anymore, just someone to ignore. Tired of breaking all the rules I laid to break my fall. Like, I'm not angry anymore, just someone like people ignore, just someone you ignore. Like, you know, obviously the dead person's ignoring you, as in being like blaming them for it. So yeah, that's what we're playing around with at the moment. But I have this idea for a bridge in this song, right? Like, so for those of you who don't know, a bridge is basically the section usually before the final chorus. Like, it usually changes, maybe the chords change, the emotion, the energy changes, it brings it down often, and then kind of builds up. So the final chorus really has this like bang, powerful effect. Now, if this is going to be the first song on the album, I'd love for it to be this thing that kind of like builds and builds and builds and introduces the choir, like announces the choir to the world, essentially. So I don't know if you guys know songs like, is it All the Things I've Done, the Killer song, where it's like, I got soul, but I'm not a soldier. And then like the gospel choir comes in, it's like, I got soul, but I'm not. You know, anyway, kind of like this repeated line that gets like louder and louder and bigger as more voices join in. I thought that could be a cool way to introduce the choir on the album. So I don't know what that lyric is going to be though. But basically, we kind of want a mantra that sums up Act 1 and that feeling of loss and grief. But also there's a little bit of defiance in there because we need that spark of hope that's going to like springboard us forward in the story and in the album. Look, I don't know if any of this makes any sense. I'm trying to explain things that usually just happen in my head and I guess like through intuition and gut feel, but I think that would make sense. So a couple of you got in touch with some ideas, some cool ideas for lyrics or like things that we could expand upon in this song. More specifically, this idea of like the storm that's passing, but you're in the middle of the storm right now. And like, I guess the light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that every storm eventually passes. Because in the song, we're talking about like thunder and lightning and rain and cloud, the weather and all the rest of it. So it kind of fits within the metaphor. And I like the idea of also like the choir, like representing that storm. That's kind of cool. So I had a little bit of like a melodic idea for the bridge that would go something like this. That kind of thing, like over and over again, and then like you know what I mean? Like building like vocal parts on top of one another. So what I want to ask you guys is, what are those lyrics gonna be? What could they be? What ideas could we throw out there? I was kind of playing around with like storm as one of the last lyrics, like storm. Something like that, or maybe storm at the end of the first line. I don't know. Look, I'm trying to figure it out. I need your help. So just throw ideas at me. There's no bad ideas in a brainstorming session, especially a songwriting session. Literally just throw words. Anything that kind of comes to your mind as something that could be repeated by the choir as like this, I don't know, like hope inspiring but acknowledging the grief. I hope that helps. I'm also going to be posting those little songwriting parts on TikTok and Instagram, so if it's easier to kind of go straight to those little videos and throw down your ideas, then even better. So look out for those. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to talk to you guys about that aren't necessarily part of the creative process, but are super important in helping us grow this project. I had an amazing email from Olivia Brown, and she said, I thought of ways to get more people singing on the album, school choirs and children's choirs. What a brilliant idea. She said their teachers can teach them the songs and be responsible for getting recording and harmonizing together, etc. She also said, if you'd like, I can reach out to my old high school teacher and pitch the idea to him, or you could email him yourself at blah, blah, blah. This is one of many schools, so even getting teachers on social media to find your videos and reach out themselves will be epic. I love this so much. Olivia, you're amazing. Absolutely hell yes. So what I've done is this. I've created a link to a page on my website, which is specifically for music teachers and music schools. On that page, there's a quick little video that is addressed to teachers and explains what we're doing and how they can get involved, as well as my contact details if we need to organize anything. So if you or anyone you know is involved with a school or a singing group, please share this link with them. Get them to reach out to me and my team, because I would love to have them with us on the recording of the album, especially early and mid next year, where we're actually looking at going around to places and doing in-person recordings. Now, finally, I've also created a link for friends and family, and that is another link with a video that basically just says, hey, maybe your friend or your family member invited you. Here's what the project is about. It would be awesome to get you involved. Sign up. And it's just something that you can send around if there's other people you'd maybe talk to about this, or you thought, hey, it'd be cool to get my cousins involved in this project so we can be singing on this record together. That link is below in the description and it'll be there forever. So feel free to send that around. And there you have it. Your homework this week is to help me write the bridge of this song. Give me feedback for the verses, whether that's on Instagram, TikTok, or in the YouTube video. Please don't be afraid to email me as well. I'm always love hearing your emails and I'll reply to everybody, of course. That's it from me. Much love. Take care. Big kiss.